We'll get a little bit more of your diddly bobbers. You're gonna sing again.
I am gonna.
Okay.
My bloody Valentine.
It's so awkward.
Hello, Champagne Nightmares, and welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl, Miss Jaye, the trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And for today's video, in celebration of National Single Awareness Day, yay! Every February 14th, those of us who are hashtag forever alone are reminded that we live in loveless times and no one will ever care about us and we'll die alone. And so to celebrate, let's watch some scary movies! For those of you who have love in your lives, you might recognize this day as Valentine's Day, or if you are a thicker milkshake like me, don't forget that it's just one day before National 50% Off Chocolate Day. And so today we're going to be talking about My Bloody Valentine, the 1981 original as well as the 2009 remake. And in addition to that, as a little special bonus, for those of you who might want to purchase some Valentine's Day gifts, I am going to show off 3 indie artist companies that I think you should support to buy gifts for your friends, loved ones, booty calls, anybody on your gifting list. So if you're interested in talking about the 2 My Bloody Valentine movies, some indie artists, and what's wrong with horror remakes from the 2000s, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. Alright, so let's go ahead and start by talking about My Bloody Valentine from 1981. This year, coming up on February 11th, is the 40th anniversary of My Bloody Valentine. It's a Canadian slasher flick. It was filmed up in Nova Scotia, don't you know? And so all of the actors have delightful, beautiful little Canadian accents I adore. It's basically set in this small town called Valentine's Bluff. It's a mining town. Everything revolves around the mine. And so basically 1 year, 20 years ago, there was a cave-in at the mine. There were some workers who were down in the mine shafts, and the 2 supervisors who were supposed to be paying attention went off to the annual Valentine's Day dance. And so a bunch of miners were trapped down in the mine, and when they dug them out, there was only one survivor, Harry Warden. And so he is all fucked up from this whole thing, and they kind of tiptoe around what happens down there. When we get to the remake, you'll see that they made it a little bit more explicit. There's potentially some cannibalism. He might have had to eat some of his fellow miners to stay alive. Harry Warden is the only survivor, and so a year later, he comes back, and he kills the 2 supervisors who let them all be trapped in the mines during the cave-in. So he killed them, and he threatened more deaths if any of those Valentine's Day socials ever happened again.
Side note, I don't know why he didn't, advocate for mine safety or some shit like that. But cancel a dance, weird flex, okay.
So he said, don't ever have a dance again. And they didn't for 20 years. So now it's 20 years later, and they've decided we don't have to worry about Harry Warden. He's been shipped off to some insane asylum. We're not going to worry about him. We're going to have a dance. We want to get it on. And before we get it on, we want to eat appetizers and dance to terrible music. So now there's going to be a St. Valentine's Day dance, and all the kids in town are excited. And by excited, I mean horny. They just want to get it on in a mine. That's what's happening. They want to get into that mine shaft, if you know what I mean. Don't you shake your head at me. So predictably, when they decide to have this dance again, people start dying. There's a little old lady, her name is Mabel, she's adorable, and she gets killed and shoved into a dryer, like an industrial laundromat clothes dryer. And that's one of the iconic things from this movie, and they did bring that death back in a different interpretation for the sequel, but that her body in the dryer kind of burnt up is one of the iconic things from My Bloody Valentine. So people start dying.
And everybody's like, oh my god, what's happening? Is it Harry Warden? What happened to Harry Warden? We thought he was in an asylum.
And his signature, so anytime somebody dies, then a little, Valentine's candy box shows up, but instead of chocolates, there's a human heart inside. You gotta love somebody who loves a theme. So people start dying and these candy boxes start showing up. Oh my god, it's Harry Warden. But of course the police chief Haniger, that's important for later, Haniger decides he doesn't want anybody to know, so he pretends that Mabel, who got burnt to a crisp in a fucking clothes dryer, he pretends that she died of a heart attack, and it's like, I hope nobody was around when you were removing the body, because heart attacks don't generally melt your face. And so he's trying to cover it up and trying to pretend. If he had let people know, maybe they wouldn't have gone and all, like, fucked in the mine and gotten killed by the killer, but, you know, who's to say? A-cab. So he has to find out if Harry Warden is still in the asylum. That's the part of this that people who did not grow up in the 80s do not understand. This is where I turn into Nana Champagne.
And I'm like, kids these days.
Because there were no cellular telephones. So that means that the sheriff had to, like, go into his office and go onto a phone that was plugged into the wall and call somebody. And that bitch had to come to her desk from across the hospital. And so they had to, like, talk on a phone. And if she was going to call him back, they had to, like, run and get the sheriff so he could come back to that one phone. I mean, kids have no idea how we've suffered. So he calls the asylum to find out, Harry Warden, is he still alive? Do you still have him? What's going on? They don't fucking know. She doesn't know. This person killed a bunch of people, maybe ate some of his fellow miners, and she just doesn't know if he's a patient there. What? I mean, what's happening? What's going on? I do not understand how this happens. So your job, your whole job, is keeping inmates who have committed terrible crimes, and you don't know if he ever existed, you don't know if he's been there, you don't know if he's alive, you don't know if he's dead, you don't know what's going on, and you have no records of him. Hot take! Do you work for ICE? And of course, in typical fashion, there is a love triangle. So of the people that are going to attend this dance, all the young people, the minors, there's dude A, TJ, who left town for a while, and now he came back and he's kind of disgraced. He didn't make it out on his own. He hated this town and he left. And so then there's Sarah. Sarah's the girl that he was going with before he left. Now he comes back and she is with his friend TJ. So that's the love triangle. Sarah is kind of caught between dude A, who like abandoned her but is a better guy, and Axel, who's kind of a douche rocket, but he's there and he's fine, but he was there for her. He didn't abandon her. So that's the love triangle. Now, dude B, Axel, he's a dick. And it's not entirely his fault, because his parents did name his Axel. Did name his Axel?
Name his Axel. What they name is Axel.
Which is not entirely his fault, because his parents did name him Axel. When did that ever work out?
In the cold November rain.
I'm so sorry. So dude A, TJ, comes back and thinks he's just gonna slide right back in with Sarah. And she's like,
I'm with that guy now, and you abandoned me, and fuck off. But he's a dick, and I kind of want your dick, and...
Nobody cares about any of them. They're all so uninteresting. And Axel is such an idiot. He's so rude and nasty, and like, he's not as bad as Axel in the remake. Again, we'll get to that. But he's just kind of a doofy guy. He's so jealous. And he knows that Sarah only wanted his shit because TJ left. And now that TJ is back, he's like really protective because he knows he's gonna lose. He knows that he's the side of the triangle that's not gonna make it to the end. He's gonna be voted off the island. So now, in the way of 80s technology, somebody has called for the sheriff. So they have to go find him because he's been trying to find out, where is Harry Warden? Do you still have him in custody? What's going on? But they called from this little landline phone to another little landline phone. So they're like, somebody get the sheriff. So they have to like call him and he has to come back. And he finds out that Harry Warden, twist, has been dead for 5 years. Yeah, this bitch who didn't even know if he even existed, didn't know that he's been dead for 5 years. Employee of the month. So since it's not Harry Warden, who could it be? Except that it's obviously Axel. Of course it's Axel. He has been such a douche rocket during this whole thing. He's rude, he's nasty to people, he's super jealous of Sarah. He's obviously the killer. And they also did the like fake out where they're in the mine and the killer is like chasing after them and TJ hears something and then he goes around the corner and there's like some water in the mine. I don't like underground water. I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a drag queen who watches horror movies. but there's like a lake in the mine or some shit like that, and there's just like one of those flashlight helmets sinking into the water. So you're supposed to believe that Axel is dead. Now, everybody else we've seen in painful, glorious detail their demise, but we're supposed to believe that this sinking flashlight means that he's dead. He's obviously the killer. No one is fooled.
Spoiler alert!
Well, it's been out for 40 years. So, of course, as happens in horror movies, they defeat him, he kind of gets shot, and he disappears off into the mine at the end, kind of laughing this sinister laugh, setting up a sequel that never happened. So this came out in 1981. So I talked in my previous video about kind of the history of slasher films, and this is one of those early ones. So it comes out in 1981, after Halloween and after the original Friday the 13th. They really haven't kind of figured out that sequels are going to be as big of a thing as they really ended up being during the 80s. So they set it up for a potential sequel, but it was kind of a small indie project. It faced a lot of censorship. Apparently there were 9 minutes of footage that were cut out of the very small theatrical release. A sequel just never happened. And so because a sequel never happened, it was before VHS really kind of changed the horror movie landscape. You know, it was really kind of towards the beginning of that. It just kind of faded away. So the verdict is it's a fun little movie. I think it's fun. It's a piece of slasher history. I think it's fun to see some of those slashers from before the formula really sort of crystallized. So things like the original Halloween and Friday the 13th really helped solidify kind of the rules of slasher films. But I think that before Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984, I think that little window between like 80 and 84, when they're still kind of figuring out that subgenre, I think you get some really interesting takes on it that kind of take some of those conventions that are being established by those very early movies, but it does them in really interesting ways. So My Bloody Valentine, Sleepaway Camp from 1983, The Burning, I think it's from 1980. It's right around in there. Those are the ones that are still trying to be part of this new emerging subgenre, but they haven't really figured out the rules yet. So you get these really interesting takes. So My Bloody Valentine, it's a little cheesy, but it's very fun. There's some inventive deaths. And as it's been re-released over the years, they've started to add in some of that edited, censored footage. So I think it's fun. It's worth a watch. It's part of slasher history. Now, when the movie was remade in 2009, they fell into kind of the same trap that I talked about in my movie about Black Christmas. So I'm going to link that up here in the cards, but I did a video talking about the remakes of Black Christmas and the one specifically from 2006. So we're going to talk about that. Before we do, I want to give you some Valentine's Day shopping ideas. What? I know, we're going to interrupt the commentary for some blatant consumerism. So I have 3 independent artist brands that I think you should shop from. I think that they would make great Valentine's Day gifts. Now I should say a note, a sort of caveat to this. I don't know when exactly this video is going up. I can't guarantee that any of these businesses are going to be able to ship you the product and get it to you before Valentine's Day. I'm just suggesting these as Valentine's appropriate businesses that you could shop from, small indie businesses, but they're good to shop from all year round. I'm just including it because it's Valentine's gifts, it's Valentine's Day, it's Valentine's horror. Just get into the theme and get over it. There's nothing about this that is sponsored in any way. I didn't let them know that I was doing this or ask them, you know, for any kind of incentive or anything. These are just 3 places that I have shopped from and that I love to shop from and that I've shopped from multiple times, so I just wanted to call them out and share them in this video. Now, the first one should be pretty obvious. I love Atomic Cotton. I have talked about Atomic Cotton many times, and they are people that I'm actually friends with. I am friends with Erica and Zach, the owners of Atomic Cotton. I met them through a horror convention, Days of the Dead, and I'm wearing one of their shirts today. This little Women in Horror Month. I'm going to include a picture of it on the screen because I know you can only see kind of the top of the titties up. You can't see the whole thing, but I'll include a picture of this shirt and I'll include pictures of other things that they offer. They have great horror and pop culture t-shirts. They sell masks, they sell stickers, and they just have really fun art that Erica does, as well as guest artists that they collaborate with. So I love Atomic Cotton. They'll be linked down in the description box. It's atomiccotton.com, and they also have an Etsy store. The second artist that I want to talk about is Jellico. So Jellico is a husband and wife team, and he does the art, and she does a lot of the production of different things that they sell. So let me show you an example. This is a commission that I got from Jellico at a Days of the Dead in Atlanta. And I'm going to go ahead and put a picture of this so you can see it better. And I'm also going to include a picture of the outfit that this was based on. So this is an outfit that I wore for some of the pro photo ops. I wore it with Candyman, and so I had this little purse that said Arm Candy. And he took a picture of me, and then he drew this commission, and it is so adorable. So I'm going to show you the original outfit that this is based on, but they do super fun, big, googly-eyed, cute things. And they do pop culture, they do horror, and they do this really kind of interesting art style. And so he does the drawing and he does the artwork, and then she makes plush, so she sews some of these characters into little plush characters. They've done little plastic action figures. They do enamel pins. And they do tons and tons of poster prints. They have really fun things. And what I ordered from them this year, I didn't get them in time to show them in this video. So I didn't get them before we filmed. But they did a series of 6 Valentines using classic characters, classic monster characters. So there's like a creature from the Black Lagoon, and I think a werewolf and a witch, and they're just adorable. And they come on little 4x6 cards, and so I ordered those for myself as a little Valentine's Day treat. And for those who want a gift idea that's maybe a little bit more risque, a seller that I discovered recently on Instagram is Glutton for Punishment Crafts. And they make paddles for impact play. So this is a Playboy Bunny paddle that I ordered from them. And so these are nice, high quality acrylic paddles. And they come in this clear acrylic. Or some of them come in this opaque black that has laser engraving. And so this is one that I thought was really fun with the little honeycomb design. And it's got the airflow holes, so you get a little bit more sting with this. I just think that these are super fun. And if you just want to be a little bit naughty, they also have mini paddles.
Oh gosh, it's the chair, not me.
Mm-hmm. If you're done blowing out your asshole, I'd like to go back to work now.
This is like the second chair time that it sounds like a fart.
And if you want to be just a little bit naughty, they also have mini palettes. How cute is this?
You said pallets.
Oh! They also have mini paddles. How cute is this? So they are on Instagram, Glutton for Punishment Crafts. I will make sure I link them down in the description box, but they're a lot of fun, and they do lots of sales, which I think is fun. The owner, Dana, she did 10 different styles of these Valentine hearts, and the mini paddles are normally $25, but if you did a grab bag and you didn't care which ones you got, they were only $12.50, so they were half off. So I ordered a few of these. I thought there's a couple of them I'm going to give away as gifts, naughty gifts. And then I kept a couple for myself as well. So those are my 3 Valentine shopping recommendations. Atomic Cotton for all of your fabulous pop culture and horror t-shirt needs. Jellico for some fabulous pop culture art. And Glutton for Punishment when you want a little bit of naughtiness in your Valentine's Day. Now let's get back to the movies. Okay, so the 2000s, the first decade of the 2000s, were a great time for horror. There were some great horror movies, there were some interesting remakes, and then there were some not so great remakes.
I'm looking at you, Black Christmas 2006. Girl, why did you even bother?
And part of the problem with some of those remakes, and this is the problem that I had with the 2006 Black Christmas, and it's the problem that I have with the 2009 My Bloody Valentine, is that they just try to do too much. They just try to throw too much story, too much of a twist, too much into it. Just give us a remake that's got the flavor and the intent of the original without going completely ham. And they couldn't do it. There's so much in this that just like is a little bit crazy. So with Black Christmas, they gave us too much backstory, right? So In the original, you didn't know anything about who the killer was. All you knew were the names Billy and Agnes from these weird phone calls that came in, but you didn't know if the killer was Billy. You didn't know who Billy and Agnes were, how they were related to this house where all these sorority girls are being killed. And so you didn't really know. There wasn't much backstory. And then the 2006 gave you backstory until you just wanted to vomit. Like, it was too much. It was weird. It was extreme. It was out there. It made no goddamn sense. And My Bloody Valentine kind of does that a little bit too. They try to add so much like backstory, and they try to up the stakes and make everything and all the connections and everything so much more extreme. So one example of this from the remake is Harry Warden. So it starts off with Harry Warden being someone who's trapped in this cave-in. But when they dig him out, they find out that not only did he like eat them to survive, but he like crushed all of their skulls with his pickaxe so that they wouldn't like steal his oxygen. And then he's this crazy, unstoppable killer. They tried to model him in like the Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees kind of thing. And so when he wakes up from a coma a year later, he goes on this rampage and kills 22 people. Like, he's been in a coma and he wakes up and immediately just murders everybody in that ward of the hospital.
A little bit sus.
And so it's just like this crazy, like, monster, this like mythical, unkillable monster, which is great if he's going to be your primary villain. But Harry Warden wasn't the primary villain of My Bloody Valentine. And so after he escapes, again, there's a showdown in the mine, and no body is recovered. So they don't have Valentine's dances. They don't wait like 20 years this time. They wait like 5 years or some shit. The kids are much hornier these days, and so they could only wait like 5 years. And with the way that they did this movie, they also did it with the expectation that everyone would have seen that movie, the original. And I don't think that that's a safe assumption to make. Again, it came out in 1981. It had a very limited release. It was very heavily edited and censored. And it wasn't given any sequels. It didn't have any sequels. And it came out before the big push for VHS and VCRs really invigorated horror. But with My Bloody Valentine, they never did do a sequel. It just kind of was left there. And so it's from this time before video stores. And when the video stores were open, did people want a movie that was this many years old? They didn't really know, so it didn't get a lot of distribution. It was really hard to get a hold of, and it was very much edited. So it was one of those things where I don't know that you can safely expect that everybody would have seen it. Now, before the remake came out, they also started releasing new DVD versions, and they put back some of the footage. And so I don't know if they thought that that meant that everybody who was going to go see it would have bought one of those versions. But they really just kind of went with this expectation that everybody would have seen it. But why, though? In 2009, the original was already 28 years old. And like I said, it didn't have any sequels and it didn't have a large distribution. So assuming that everybody would see it or would know it isn't necessarily the best way to go. But they were expecting that everybody would know about the twist ending, because that's the big thing with the original, is that you find out that Harry Warden is dead. So they didn't have to assume, and I don't think it's safe to assume that everybody would have seen the original, but they did, and here we are. So if you're assuming that everybody has already seen the original movie, you have to also assume that they're expecting the reveal. So that means you have to play with it or twist it somehow. So there's really only two ways to do that. Number one, you make the killer actually Harry Warden. That would be an interesting twist. Instead of having it be one of the other minors, you could have it actually be Harry Warden. And with the way they set up the beginning, where he was such a like unstoppable force and he kills like 22 people, and it's just a bloodbath, maybe they could have gone in the direction of just saying, well, no, he's still alive, and it is Harry Warden who's killing everybody. But if you don't do that, you have to really try to milk that love triangle and make it one of the two dudes, Dude A or Dude B. And that's what they did. And in fact, one of the biggest problems that I have with the movie is that very early on in the movie, once people start getting killed, they go and reveal that the sheriff and a couple of other men went deeper into the mine and hunted down Harry Warden and shot him and killed him and buried him. So they take away that possibility that it's Harry Warden. It has to be one of the two dudes. So Dude A is Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. Yummy.
I'd climb that like a tree.
So Dude A left behind Sarah, his girlfriend, his lady love, after there's this big thing in the mine. And in this version, again, because we're always upping the stakes, we're making it more extreme, Dude A and Dude B and their girlfriends were in the mine when Harry Warden was on his, like, bloodbath. And in fact, it was Dude A, Harry Warden was standing over him about to kill him when the sheriff shot him, and he kind of staggers off into the mine. So he's super traumatized, and his name is Tom Hanniger. Remember Hanniger from earlier? He's actually the son of the person who owns the mine. It's the Hanniger Mines, and his father recently died. That's why he's back in town. He came back because he is now the owner of the mine, and he's planning to sell it, which will basically devastate the town. So that's just one of the many complications that they tried to add in to, like, up the stakes and make it more extreme, or I don't know what their intention was, but it's just like everything. They're like, throw everything, see what sticks. And so not only is he the son of the guy who owned the mine, and now he owns the mine and he's going to sell it and destroy the town, but it's also revealed that while he was away, he was in a mental institution and had a breakdown. And you find out at the very beginning of the movie that it was actually Dude A, Tom Hanniger, who caused the explosion that trapped Harry Warden. He forgot to bleed the lines for the methane. And so because the gas built up, that caused the cave-in. So he's responsible for the cave-in. He's responsible for the bloodbath. He owns the mine and is potentially going to ruin the town. It's a lot. And it's not just Dude A who's got a whole lot of shit going on with him. Dude B, Axel, God, that's an awful name. He is now the sheriff of the town. And if the Axel in the original was kind of a douche rocket, Axel in the remake is King Douche Rocket. He's nasty. He's just verbally abusive to random people on the street. He's just horrible. He's so terrible. And he's now married to Sarah, the girl that Dude A left behind. And he's cheating on her with her co-worker at the grocery store, Megan. This, like, Megan Fox-looking hooker, but they clearly couldn't afford Megan Fox. So he's having sex with her, but he's having sex with her in his dad's old, like, cabin in the woods, which is the most run-down fucking Hills Have Eyes looking shit I've ever seen in my life. So he's just so rude and nasty and awful. He can't be the killer. I mean, if they do that, they're going so obvious and expected. So they're making him seem so terrible. And so if you've watched horror movies more than once, then you know, well, they're doing that because he's not going to be the killer. Like, it would be too obvious to make him the killer. If anybody who gets fooled by that, I mean, this must be your first time at the rodeo, because they're working just too hard. It's so obvious. But then they take away the possibility that it's Harry Warden super early. There's like one death, and then they go and dig up, or try to dig up, Harry Warden's body. So the twist there, maybe, is that his body isn't there, or they've dug him up and stolen his mining equipment, or whatever it is. And so the body has been, like, moved. There's something going on, but we know he's still dead. Even if we don't find the body, the sheriff buried him 5 years ago. So we know he's dead. And then they have the weakest attempt at trying to give you this red herring of this deputy that is so paper thin. It's just tragic. Like, he's in one scene where somebody's like, well, how do we know it's not you? Because he's never appeared on screen before, and he's only going to appear on maybe a total of, like, 3 minutes of footage in this entire film. It's not him. And he's, like, the only black person, so I feel like the reason why he was there was not to be, like, a potential lead for the killer, but I felt like they were trying to do, like, some diversity quota where they were like, oh, we didn't get any black people? And so then he shows up, and they're like, how do we know that you're not the killer? And he's like, because I'm the black guy. There's always got to be one. And I break my nail off.
I like those nails. I like how the scattered diamond thing kind of picks up that sparkle.
Yeah.
Scattered diamond with the sparkle catches my eye. You could use that jingle if you ever want to.
If I ever want to.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
I'm giving it to you.
So he feels less like an actual character and more just like a diversity quota. Black guy, check. So I needed the nail back on. So otherwise I would have had to do it with my middle finger and it would have been weird. So it's between Dude A and Dude B, right? And it can't be Dude B because we know that he's super awful and they've worked really hard to show us how awful he is. And so if they made him the killer, then it would just be a disappointment. It would be like, oh, yeah, we thought he was terrible and then he is terrible. And now he's just really terrible. It's kind of letdown. There's no twist then. Then it's just obvious. Like, it's kind of like real life in some ways, where like sometimes that person who looks and acts like an asshole just really is deep down an asshole. But that's not how it usually works in horror movies. So it's gotta be Dude A, right? Except that's not possible. Because one of the first kills is down in the mine, and it's a foreman who has taken Dude A down to talk to somebody else who's like working. And so all of a sudden this miner emerges, and Dude A gets pushed into this like electrical cage, and the door is like jammed, and he watches the miner kill that guy. So he's like standing there watching him, and then the miner like comes up to the cage, and they're like face to face staring each other down, and then he goes off into the mine. So he was standing there watching a kill happen. So it can't be him, right? Maybe it is the black guy. It's not the black guy. So it can't be Dude A, right? Except that it is. They just decided to pull some like Fight Club bullshit where any of the first person scenes where he watches somebody get killed, it's actually him sort of disassociating and imagining what it would be like to watch them get killed from that perspective. And like, he wasn't accidentally stuck in the cage. He put himself in the cage and then bent the bar himself. And it was so bad. It was so cheesy and dumb. I just expected him to like all of a sudden wake up and Patrick Duffy would be in the shower and we'd all find out that nobody shot JR. 80s throwback.
Who shot JR? Who the fuck cares?
It's such a cheap trick. It's such a cheap trick to just lie to your audience. And it's easy to see through. You're like trying to figure out like, well, how can it be him? Because we watched him be stuck in the cage and stuff when the killer happened. And it's just like, oh, I guess they just lied to us. Because otherwise it would have been obvious, right? Because other douche bomb is such a douche bomb that it can't be him or it's a disappointment. It's just too much. It's too much all rolled together. And it just, the only way that they could even make it semi-work is to lie to you. Another problem with this movie, and this, I get it. I get the spirit. It's new technology. They're wanting to try things out. But this is remember when like Real D 3D technology first became hot? This movie was the first R-rated movie to be released under Real D technology. So there are a lot of really terrible things coming at the screen kind of gags just because they could. So they hadn't really figured out how to play with the new technology other than to just use it in this sort of masturbatory capacity. They're just doing it everywhere. Like, instead of making wise choices and making it interesting and making it, like, really serve the narrative or do something that's kind of clever, they're just like, eyeball at the screen, pickaxe at the screen, jawbone at the screen, like, everything. It's just like, okay, we get it. We get it. And of course, so there's all these gratuitous shots of, like, the pickaxe coming towards you in the audience. And Angie and I went and saw it, and we got there late, and it was, like, full. A lot of people apparently wanted to see it. I don't know if it was, like, the new freshness of 3D or whatever, but we had to sit in, like, the second row, like, way towards the front. So we're, like, staring directly up, and it, like, the 3D is all kind of weird and strange, and it just was kind of a disappointment. So the overall verdict for this one is that it's fun. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of nudity. It is R-rated. A lot of the, like, remakes especially, but a lot of horror from the 2000s, you started to see a lot more PG-13. They were trying to kind of court some of those younger viewers to get them into the genre, and so you saw a lot of that, you know, PG-13 kind of stuff. It was R-rated. It was gory. There's nudity. There's some sex. It's a little bit crazy. But it's just, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work because they have to lie to you. It's worth a watch if you can find it for cheap or for free somewhere. I think if you've got Hulu, it's on there right now as of this filming. But it's just not that great. I mean, Jensen Ackles is hot all day long, and it's worth a watch for that. But if you have to choose between the two, watch the original. It's more fun, it's a little bit ridiculous and quirky, but it's not quite as obvious as the new one. And so for people who are doing remakes, I hope they figure out you don't have to give us everything. You don't have to throw everything at the viewers all at the same time. Just give us a remake that's in the spirit, that offers something new, but that doesn't sort of violate the kind of premise of what the movie is about or should be about. And just Don't lie to us. Don't do us like that, okay? We deserve better. It's Valentine's Day, and we deserve better. You back there always judging. So that is the video. Let me know down below what you think of my analysis of My Bloody Valentine, the 40th anniversary movie on February 11th. It'll be 40 years old. Happy birthday to you. And the remake from 2009. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk about it. If there's any other movies you would like to hear me talk about, any other horror movies you want me to dig in and explore and analyze, let me know. I love to hear it. I'm always looking for new ideas for fun horror content. While you're down there, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, or you can give me a thumbs down. It's engagement either way. The algorithm doesn't care, and neither do I. I'm not a picky bitch. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I upload at least one video a week, usually on Tuesdays, and sometimes I even have a bonus video for you. Ooh, romantic. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne at janessajay.com. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you love and ushy-gushy things. That's gushy.
On Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day.
Oh my.
Thank you so much for watching. I wish all of you love and romance and candy hearts and sexy, sexy time. And until I see you again, bye.